finally, in the reading section, we are on to question 4. So, question 4 asks you to focus on a very specific part of the text, usually the end of the text, but we don't want to assume anything. So we just want to make sure that we read what lines we're allowed to use. Now, in our text, line 31 is actually on the second page. You get actually the whole second page. They're not always that kind. There's a lot there that we can use. So the best thing for you to do would be to read the question and then reread that part of the extract. So let's read the question first. A student said, "This part of the story where the men encounter the Tyrannosaurus Rex shows Eccles' right to panic. The monster is terrifying." Let's reduce that question to some easy little bites, some easy small phrases that we can remember. Do that for me now. Just highlight the most important information in that question. I would pick Eccles' right to panic. The monster is terrifying. And it's our job to go, to what extent do you agree? Essentially, your job for the most part of this question is to prove this exists in the text. We are proving that these ideas are correct. In the final paragraph, I will show you how to disagree. But if you write 3 paragraphs that prove this is correct, you would absolutely be well on your way to nearly full marks. Yeah, there is no limitation from agreeing. It is easier to agree. The text is written that way the questions are written for the text that way on purpose. So we wouldn't want to make it any harder for ourselves, essentially. So, when the question says you could, imagine it instead said you should. You should consider your own impressions of Eccles' reaction to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. The examiner is giving you a clue here. It's telling you where to look. Look at Eccles' reaction to the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Is he right to panic? Let's prove that he is. Evaluate how the writer describes the monster. Again, helping us, is the monster terrifying? And support your response with references, just reminding you to use quotations. So now it's your job to find that Eccles is right to panic and the monster is terrifying. So, get your extract back in front of you. Let's start with Eccles is right to panic. Give it a reread for me. Find me some quotations that prove Eccles is probably right to panic. First, find me clues that he's panicking, and then tell me why he's probably right. Okay, so I'm just going to write, for my plan, I'm going to remind myself what I'm proving. That Eccles is right to panic. I'm going to pick my quotations. There's a few you could have picked. You might have picked, it can't be killed. This is impossible. The idea that his gun now seemed like a toy gun. The idea that he miscalculated. Okay, which one has the best image? Which one can you explore something deeply? Which one can you talk about multiple meanings? That one's the best one. We can talk about what a toy gun is, what this suggests about his rifle, what this suggests about his emotions. That one's your best one. It doesn't mean these quotations are useless. We could embed them. Yeah? Clearly, at this point in the story, Eccles is right to panic when he realises that the dinosaur can't be killed and the hunt is impossible. For example, the rifle that he was carrying seemed like a toy gun. In other words, and you go in through there. So let's just think about how we annotate our big images. We have to make sure we analyse. That 20 marks, you're only going to get a lot of marks if you analyse. So number 1, what is it literally? A toy gun is. Marks it at, or physically is, might say small. Yeah, but specifically, it's for children, is it? It's small and marked at children. Okay, what's being revealed about his rifle then? His rifle is not big enough, not powerful enough. He feels impotent. He feels a lack of protection. Yeah, even though he came into the jungle as a predator, he's become a prey. And this toy gun symbolises the fact that the dinosaur is a superior predator. Because the dinosaur doesn't even have a weapon. It is the weapon. And therefore, the human being with a weapon feels like he's basically got a pretend gun, because it won't be enough to kill the dinosaur, is how he feels. And therefore, this panic that it can't be killed, that it's impossible, is probably correct, because he is facing a superior predator. So we can prove this is correct in our answer. And that would be paragraph 1. Okay, paragraph 2, take a look at the question. What do you think we'll write about? Absolutely, we're going to write about this one. So let's look at how the writer describes the monster to explain how the monster is terrifying. Paragraph 2. Okay, paragraph 2 is the monster is terrifying. Right, take a look at the extract with me. Read it, find your quotations. Where is the dinosaur described again? Number 1. Things you could have said. What I love is tyrant lizard. Love it. But equally what I think is interesting is the fact it's called a monster. It's not a monster. It's a predator. It's a being. It's not a monster. It's described as a monster. And I think what it does is interesting. There's loads of things it does, but we can also add roared. Okay. Right. I think all of these quotes are really revealing. Number 1. We talked about a tyrant already. I'm not going into loads of detail there. Number 2 though, a monster. A monster is supernatural. They're not actually real. Supernatural. Frightening. Potent. Children are afraid of monsters. Does he feel like a child, maybe? I might put that in metaphorically. Metaphorically suggesting that this supernatural power makes Eccles feel like a child because the monster terrifies him so. It suggests that the monster is not just potent, the lizard is not just, it's omnipotent. Yeah, it has a power beyond natural. It is unnatural and unsettling to both Eccles and probably the reader. And therefore symbolises the extreme danger that the men are in. Symbolises their lack of protection, the idea that maybe they won't survive, that maybe they will die. It's the idea of a threat to life. And the fact it roared, yeah, it's a signal of an attack. Makes us think of lions, makes us think of predators. Idea that the men are not only having a threat to life, it's actually happening in an attack right now. Therefore, of course, the monster is terrifying. So again, we're just proving this idea. And if you plan this really well, like I've just shown you, I promise putting the paragraph together will be easier. Because as you go through year 11, you are practicing these paragraphs all the time. Now, we would do 3 paragraphs that way. 2, if we've not got time. Now, you might decide, actually there is a way I can disagree. For example, Eccles is right to panic. The monster is terrifying. What happens to the monster at the end? Does it devour the entire jungle? No, it falls, like a stone idol, like a mountain avalanche. So I would say in my plan earlier, I did think you could disagree. You could say, actually, it turns out that Eccles was able to survive in the face of this monster, because like a stone idol, like a mountain avalanche, the Tyrannosaurus fell. And the idea that they were able to take down a stone idol, a mountain avalanche, these things of natural power and omnipotence and superiority way above men, they were able to take it down. Sorry for the interruption during my video. I think I was talking about how you could disagree that the men were possibly not right to panic because in the end they were able to succeed. For this question, you write it very similarly to your other paragraphs, but you just have to make sure that you are proving the statement. I love words like clearly, evidently, and I love words like deliberately, purposefully. So for example, if we look at our lovely little plan, we might say, clearly, the writer presents Eccles as being right to panic when he realises the size and potency of the dinosaur. he realises which cannot be killed and that the hunt is impossible. For example, Eccles notices that his rifle now seemed like a toy gun. In other words, literally, more specifically, metaphorically, symbolically, linked to the reader. Yeah? Therefore, Eccles is right to panic. That's kind of the structure of your paragraph. Use the sentence stems you've been given, have a practice, and then bring it to your teacher for your teacher to mark, and good luck in the exam.